Hello, Richard, and everyone else who's having to work from home at the moment and would like a solution, a standing desk solution, because I keep banging on about them. Oh, if you don't know me, if you're not Richard, my name's James. I'm Richard's trainer, and I run a company called jamesdeanfitness.com, which is me. I'm like the head lead coach for it. And we're all having to do, a lot of us having to do a lot of extra work from home at the moment. I always encourage people to get standing up, and this is my homemade standing desk solution. So don't think you got to bust the bank. You can probably do it with stuff you got kicking around at home. I've used an old chest of drawers, what else have I got there? Little coffee table, my laptop, spare flat screen TV, and a bar stool, breakfast stool. And just chucked it in the spare room, and then that is my standing desk solution. I'll talk you through it. It's pretty simple, and I'll try and keep it at 5 minutes or less. In terms of standing, there's some wonderful thing called the NEAT principle. So NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I do love an acronym. All that means is the calories you burn when you're not exercising, and you'd be surprised what a difference standing makes compared to sitting. So if you sit for 8 hours a day, you burn 300 NEAT calories. So even sat on your backside, you are gonna expend energy. If you stand up for 8 hours a day instead of sitting, you are gonna burn 1,300, that's 1,300 NEAT calories. So that's an extra, if you're working 5 days, if you're lucky enough to be working 5 days a week or whatever, it is, and let's say 5 days a week, that's an extra 5,000 calories a week you will be burning by virtue of standing. So I'm not talking about exercising, going for runs, doing HIIT training. Please do all that stuff as well, because it's awesome. But if you just get into the habit of standing for as long as you can, you're gonna really ramp up your calorie burning potential. The reason for that is when you're sat down, like I'm sat on the floor at the moment, I'm not loading my legs, and I'm not loading my body weight onto my legs. As soon as I stand up, I've just put my body weight on my legs, and if I do that for a sustained period of time, I'm gonna have to use these leg muscles. And the leg muscles, they're the biggest muscles in your body, biggest muscle group. I'm loading my legs now. I weigh 12 stone in, what is that in American? 100, 14 12s, 168 pounds. I'm not bad at maths. Yeah, it's 168 pounds. In European, that is, in kilos, that's 2.2 pounds to a kilo. 70, probably closer to 76 kilos. Let's call it 75, just because that's easier to divide by 3. The reason why I want to divide by 3 is when I stand up, so I'm sat down, I am sat down. I'm not a midget, by the way. This chair's got a very high back. I'm sat down, and I've now put the body weight onto my bum. I've taken the body weight off of my legs. 2/3 of my body weight, typically, in the average person, 2/3 of your body weight sits above your hips. So when I stand up, I've just loaded 8 stone or 50 kilos onto my legs. And by doing that, if I can do that for a sustained period of time, that's gonna ramp up that calorie burning potential. So it's gonna turn, if I do it for 8 hours, it's gonna turn my 300 calorie day into a 1,300 calorie day. This data is clinically proven. I read it in a study from the Mayo Clinic. Go check it out, Google it or whatever for yourself. So that is superb, no exercise. And I'm pretty lean. So yeah, there's other stuff I do as well. That's the main tenet of it. In terms of strategies, if you're new to this, it can get pretty knackering standing all day. So I'd recommend getting a really high chair. Like I say, I've got a breakfast stool. You might have one of these kicking around in your kitchen. You could probably, I inherited this in a house move actually. So, you know when you find random stuff in the garage when you move house, if you're lucky enough to have a garage, I found one of these they'd left behind, and this has been my standing desk seat ever since. So I can, I've adjusted the computer, so I've got it in line with my elbows basically, or actually it's a little bit above because I can't be bothered to find another size little coffee table. It's fine. So when I stand next to the desk, externally rotate the arms. If you think you're going to read a broadsheet newspaper, or what's another good analogy, gonna eat some food. I love eating food. So the hand you get position in to eat your crisps or your chips or whatever food you like eating, externally rotate, holding your broadsheet, big position, or like a nice magazine or something. And then by doing that external rotation, that fixes the shoulder position, gets your shoulders back in the sockets where they belong. And then if you flip the hands around from there, you've nicely got the shoulders back where they belong, you're nice in that standing position. You might find standing in this position, you start to default your weight. It's kind of like, kind of call it like meat hanging off the hook. So you end up defaulting onto your stronger leg. So you don't want to do that. So the way around that is you screw your feet into the ground, and that engages your glutes a bit more, your butt muscles, and then that will help pull your pelvis in. So just screw those feet into the ground. Again, that can get a bit tiring. So a good strategy, I don't know if you've ever been in a bar. If you frequented a bar, you may notice in some of the nicer ones, if you go in like the old like Victorian saloons around London, there'll be a brass rail along the bottom of the bar. I think it's from I'm sure I read it was like from Bristol or something, it was like railway times. And they put the rail along in fact that's where the bar was invented for, was that Brunel? I get off topic. There's a bar along the bottom of the bar. It's to encourage you to stand there for longer, because if you put your foot on the bar, that fixes your hip position. And then it's really comfortable to stand like that. So they knew what they were doing. They wanted to keep you comfortably being a customer stood at the bar. I want you to keep being a customer stood at your standing desk. So get your feet up, and I've done this with, I've got yoga block kicking about. If you don't have any yoga blocks kicking about, just like a, I don't know, coffee table book or something. If you're at the office or you're at home, everyone's homes is the office at the moment, get a ream of paper, photocopier paper that's in the packet still, chuck that on the floor, and then you can just elevate your foot on that, and that's a nice stable surface. And you can see, instead of that meat hanging off the hook, and my pelvis being twisted, getting pain into my lower back, I just bring my foot up, and that's immediately fixed my pelvis position. It's so simple, just put your foot up. And then just got to get into the habit of alternating side to side. I'm a little bit lazy, efficient with my energy use. So I've got 2 yoga blocks, I don't know if you can see that. So sort of every 5 or 10 minutes, I will switch from my right foot over to my left foot. And that's keeping my pelvis in a lovely position. I can pretty much stand up all day long now, but I've built up to that. So occasionally, if you've got this nice high seat, you can take a load off, but you're not taking it all off onto your butt. And then you can still comfortably carry on working. If you're getting super tired, how am I doing on the 5-minute front? 8 minutes, I do gas a lot. So from there, you might want to take a load off. So if you move whatever your standing desk option is, move your coffee table to one side. That's more desk height now. I can adjust my seat. And then I've got a nice desk option. And again, you can do the same trick with your pelvis. Like typically getting all your weight onto your bum. This is quite a nice hard chair, by the way. You end up sort of defaulting to this, lots of lower back pain, you laminate your butt tissues, still keep your ream of paper or your yoga block, put your foot on it. You've set the pelvis position again. Again, you can alternate. I like these chairs because you can spin a bit as well, and any movement is good movement. And as soon as you think, I've had enough of a rest, I need to stand up again, adjust it back up, and then get your standing desk back up there again, and yeah, you're good to go, and keep typing away. Hope you found that useful. I've got it hooked up to the TV as well because like everyone, like a lot of people, I'm lucky enough to do lots of sessions via Zoom and Google Duo and FaceTime and all that stuff. it's quite nice to have a big screen so that you can, when you've got to turn it into like a conference thing or something to train or coach someone about their health and stuff, or whatever it is you do in your line of work, if you're lucky enough to be working at the moment, you know, that's ace. That is my standing desk setup. I should explain the enormous chair as well. This is another one that I inherited in a house move. I've moved house far too much. This one's awesome because so sometimes you might want to work, actually I can work on my hip range of movement with the standing chair as well. So you can get your foot on there, and then I'm basically doing a deep squat on one of my legs, and I can alternate that, do the deep squat in the other position, and then that's how you can build up your squatting. You can build up your squatting. So if you can't squat like this with one leg, guess what? Work on if you can't squat like that with both legs, you can work on one leg until you can get that range of movement. And I like having different height things. So for that one, I can do the same thing again. So it's slightly lower, typing away, blah, blah, blah. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And I'll tell you about Uncle Bob another time, if you don't know the origin of that phrase. That's James Dean Fitness signing off. I hope you found this helpful for how to set up a standing desk workstation. If you got any questions, feel free to email me. It's info@jamesdeanfitness.com. I aim to get back to everyone within 24 hours. If I don't, I'll send you a message saying I'm a bit inundated. I will get back to you at some point, and I'll endeavour to do it within the week. Have a good one. Hope you found this useful, Richard. I'm sorry to gas on. 5 minutes, I think, was a bit ambitious. I've done 12. Arrivederci.